All right, guys, it is episode 3 on a Tuesday morning, 11 a.m., and we are live at the East Brunswick Public Library. I'm Greg T. This is Mayor Cohen. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Buzz About East Brunswick. We really want to say thank you very much for listening to it. The numbers are growing, which is great.
That is great.
That's positive. So we know that there is a positive, climb.
Vibe,
a positive vibe.
Buzz.
That's right. A positive buzz.
Buzz.
Very nice job. Positive buzz. All right, listen, you can drop us an email. We are, you can email us at baeb@buzzabouteb.com. We're on Instagram at buzzabouteb. We have a website now. We launched that this week. You can check us out, and all the prior episodes are listed on the website at buzzabouteb.com. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, hello everybody on YouTube. We're at EBTV26, and then you search us at Buzz About East Brunswick. And of course, you can hear us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music.
I think we need merch.
Oh, you know what? We do need merch.
Right.
I didn't
Maybe we
think
could
about
do
that.
bobbleheads.
That would be, Mr.
Wouldn't that be
Mayor, I
kinda
love that.
cool?
I think that's really good. And all this week I've been noticing all over social media, there's been this AI program where you can actually make yourself into a doll, like a figurine. That would be so cool if those things came to life, but the closest thing we have would be a bobblehead.
A bobblehead, or making avatars out of it. Wouldn't that be kind of cool?
I would think I've never been in a figurine. That'd be kind of cool to be a figurine. We should do it. I bet you people would want to buy it for sure. We could sell it right there on eb.com. That'd be great.
What would you be?
For myself, I don't know. I'd have to think about it. A guy with a microphone, obviously. Headphones.
I would definitely make myself taller.
Oh, please! I'm right with. How tall are you? I say I'm 5'6" on a good day.
Okay, then I'm 5'7".
There you go. So we're about the same size. So yeah, we're not very tall. Now, is your wife taller than you?
No.
No, my wife is.
Is she?
Yeah, my wife's 2 inches taller. Yeah, even on our wedding day it was tough. She couldn't even wear real high heels. She would have been skying over me. So forget about that. Hey, how was your weekend?
It was great.
Yeah, did you have a Passover? Yeah.
Yes.
How was the Passover?
It was big.
Was it?
Yes, we do both nights. It's always been a tradition that we have these Passover Seders. They almost always start out at about 20 to 25 people and goes up from there.
Wow, not bad. Yeah. Now, do you read or does somebody else read?
I lead the Seder.
You do?
Partly English, because a lot Hebrew understand Hebrew.
Hebrew, right.
And then the Hebrew parts that should be done in Hebrew, of course we do.
Nice.
And but we have everybody around the table participate by doing some part of the reading, and
I like
it makes it more homey, and everyone feels like they've got a place and an importance, and they're part of it.
I like that.
Yeah.
So what we do is we do Passover, and then I also do Palm Sunday as well. So at our Passover, so my dad, he does all the reading, and then when we all have to do our part, we all do it together, and it's so annoying. And that's a great idea, to actually take little pieces, pass it around the table, and everybody gets a chance to do some reading.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Sometimes you get a paragraph. It's basically 2 sentences, and someone's like, "Oh, is that all I get, or should I take the next one?"
Right.
But
and the clarity. Oh my God, so much
better. They all work it out. It gets done. Everybody feels they had a part.
Yes.
Everybody sings.
Right.
Parts for
we
singing.
all do. Right. Hard God, yo. We do it at the very end. All that singing. We do it all. Yep. I agree. I don't know why we never thought about that, and why we all sit there around the table and we all read at the same time, and it's so annoying. And it's like somebody might be off, or somebody misses a word or something like that, and it throws everybody off.
You can't think of it that way. You just have to. It's a family event. It's a tradition that's gone on for thousands of years.
Right.
I always try to make it a point of inviting people that may never have been at a Seder that's not Jewish, because I don't want them to look at it as something strange that they don't really understand. It's look, Passover Seder was basically the Last Supper.
Yeah, no, you're right. I actually was telling the guys earlier before they got here, I was watching the 10 Commandments over the weekend. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. Maybe as I get older, I guess I want to do a little bit more research around the holidays, around Good Friday and around Passover and Easter and everything, And then for us, we did Palm Sunday as well. This is the worst, I'll tell you. So we were supposed to have my in-laws come over for the weekend, which is great. My father-in-law is a fantastic Italian chef. We got a phone call on Friday. Hey, he says to his daughter, he says, "Hey, Trish, your mother doesn't want to make the drive to Jersey. We're going to do Palm Sunday in Long Island." Oh my God. So my wife is from Long Island, so we had to do the drive on a Sunday back and forth to Long Island on Palm Sunday. Traffic, tremendous.
I'd want to pop my eyeballs out. I do not want to. I can't stand traffic.
Oh my God. To go from Jersey out to Long Island, it is so tough. And we always make a rule of not going out to Long Island on a Sunday, but we just had no choice.
I had a really good friend of mine. We all graduated college together.
Yeah.
And he at a time had a place out in the Hamptons.
Nice.
And invited us for 4th of July to go out to the Hamptons. And of course, it happened to fall on a weekend, which meant traffic was going to be 10 times worse than it would have ordinarily been if it was in the middle of the week.
Yes.
So I happened to, at the time, be doing some work at the house in the kitchen. And this dude that's doing all the marble work, I was chatting with him. I said, oh my God, next weekend I got to go out to Long Island.
Yeah.
The thought of actually sitting on the LIE in traffic is going to make me just, I don't even want to do it. I know it's going to be fun when we get there.
Yeah.
I said, wouldn't it be nice to be like the rich people that can get a plane, just takes you out?
Or a little helicopter, just like
So he
just,
says to me, one of my best friends used to be a pilot for Eastern Airlines years ago, and he actually flies planes. Would you like me to call him?
Oh my gosh.
So before I could even think about it, he had the guy on the phone.
Yes.
For $400. It was a 4-seater. For some reason, my son had something going on that weekend, so it was for me, my wife, and my daughter, and the guy.
Bargain and a
$400.
half.
I said, is that per person, or is that the? He goes, no, for the use of the plane, and I'll pick you up and on the when the weekend's over and bring you back.
You're kidding
so
me.
I said, sign me up. I didn't even know how to break it to my wife, so I had to make sure that I put in a prescription for Xanax first.
Oh
so
my
that
God.
she would be prepared.
Yes.
You know,
in the little airplane.
So I said, just take your medicine and sit in the back of the plane and enjoy.
But what amazing view, because you're going to fly right past New York City. Right?
And
it's
the
great.
traffic on the LIE, that was worth the whole thing,
Oh
looking
my
down
God.
at that.
Yes, it was. I'm sure it was.
Great. And we land in this airport. My friend picks us up. And
Terrific.
I said, when would you like your plane ready when the weekend's over? I said,
oh, what a way to travel.
Tell you, the weekend was great. We had a nice time. But the thing I remember most was the flight. And the guy's pointing out all of these things in the city. And it was a beautiful day.
Oh, my gosh.
I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Please, I need the name for this year. We always go every 4th of July. We head out to Southold out on Long Island, which is like, so you go one direction is the Hamptons, the other direction is the other portion closer to like, Connecticut, looking at that area.
Right.
And that's where Southold is. And that's where we go every single 4th of July. And I'm with you. I make sure that my wife and we leave a whole day ahead of time because I'm not doing it. We used to do that, sit in that traffic. It's for those of you that don't know, I mean, going from here to Long, it is nightmare. Oh,
for
my
all you
God.
complain about Route 18 and some of the other
Good
things
point.
that happen here,
You have no idea.
That is nothing compared to that.
Long Island, the LIE, forget it. You can't move. I agree. Well, that's awesome, man. $400 for a little plane ride.
Yeah, I'm sure that it is not that anymore. But
my God, can you sign me up? I would take that every weekend.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. Hey, today is also tax day, April the 15th.
Yes.
So now, are you an extension or are you on time?
I already got my refund.
You did? You're kidding me, really?
Yeah.
So you're that much? Wow. See, I'm an extension guy. I don't know why. I've always been lazy, so I had to drop everything off yesterday at my accountant's house. So I did that, and then
It's a nuisance. I just want it done.
yeah,
So
I never do. I'm lazy to get all the paperwork, and I'm just like, I hate gathering it. I don't know why, but that's great. I should take some pointers from you and be right on time. It is nice to get a return. It really is.
Yeah. So so we get it done early.
Yeah.
It's out. The money's in. I'm already into this year. I don't have to think about it.
Wow.
So I see all these people run to the post office
Yep,
to
gotta
get
get
their
it
stuff
in.
at the last minute.
Yep.
But, I thought, does anybody really do that more? I think mostly it's filed electronically.
You can do it online now, for sure. For me, I still have an old school accountant where I actually go and I drop it off at his house, and I do that. So he's in East Brunswick. He has an office in Milltown as well. But so on the way, I just dropped it off, called it a day yesterday, and we're done. So wait, what about East Brunswick? Does East Brunswick pay taxes? I was always curious, like, does the town pay taxes to the United States government? Is that a thing?
No.
So we don't. So East Brunswick just collects taxes. We don't pay the taxes.
Correct.
Gotcha. I didn't know if every single city had to pay tax to the state, and then if the state pays, like I didn't understand exactly how everything works when it comes to taxes.
Well, I can assure you that there's a bunch of people that all have their hands in your pockets.
I'm sure.
Right?
I'm sure.
Right? The federal government has their hand in your pocket. The state has your hand in your pocket. The township, which has to collect for the schools and the county.
Of course.
We have, and then every time you go to the store, you're taxed on something. So, think about it. Yeah. It almost doesn't matter what pocket it's coming out of, but it's coming out.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, no, you know what? Now you're making more sense out of it. I didn't think about it like that. But in most instances,
there's just things that we require to get by on a regular basis that we have to pay for. And if we didn't have people to do that for us, you'd be paying for that yourself, right? So,
yeah.
Just on our example as a township, if we didn't provide garbage service for us, you would be paying for it yourself.
Which I live in Marlboro, and that's what I have to do. I have to pay for it myself.
Many towns.
Because
it's gotten so expensive.
Right.
So you pay for the services.
Yep.
And most of what we're providing is done by people. So close to 60-70% of our expenses is just the people.
Right. They got to get paid.
That get paid.
Right. Remember episode 1 where we're like, when I made a mistake and I'm like, the East Brunswick people don't get paid around here. Like, no.
I had to correct that one.
That is not what we meant. It's not what we meant. Over the weekend, something really big happened was Rory McIlroy won the Masters. Do you watch golf?
I don't.
You don't watch golf. You don't pay attention to it at all.
No.
Okay, well, it brings me to this one point, though. So when he did win, what happens is, after the whole thing is all over, they all go inside and sit in the studio, and there's Jim Nance, and he kind of, says, Rory, what's going through your mind right now? Congratulations. You're going to be honored in the so-called golf ring of honor, know? And then they have the older golfer that won prior to him, right, which was this man, Scotty Scheffler. So Scotty Scheffler won it last year. And what they do is they stand up and they pass the green jacket onto the next one. You've seen that, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so then every single year, the next one, so Rory McIlroy will pass the green jacket onto whomever, unless he wins it again next year.
It's almost like the Miss America, right? They put the crown.
The crown, that's right. It goes from, that's right, exactly, from year to year. So it made me want to think. So as the president of the United States, which I didn't know of, but now I've been made aware of it, that every president hand writes a letter and sticks it in the drawer in the Oval Office, and the next president opens it up on day one and he gets a letter and he can share it or not share it or whatever. It's done in private. But as the mayor, do you get something passed down from other mayors? So I did a little research. For instance, it went, let's say, William Neary to David Stahl to Kevin McAvoy, then to you. So does somebody pass something down, and one day when you are no longer the mayor, will you pass it down to someone else? Or what is it?
Yeah, we don't really have anything like that here where everybody wrote to one another. But I think that one of the big things that I did when I took office was actually meet with the prior mayors.
Okay.
And get their opinion about the things that they thought were important and their perspective, because it's totally different than what you might have had running for the office versus actually talking to someone who's done the job.
Right. And there's no secret handshake, no East Brunswick mayor handshake. They pass the password,
No,
Go Bears.
Could always start a new tradition.
Yeah. Because that's even if you think about fraternities, sororities, there's always the pass down of a handshake or a secret word.
We did start a new tradition. We now have a whole series of pictures that are uniform in the court office of all of the prior mayors.
That's great.
And the current mayor has his or her picture in the entranceway to the town municipal building.
Great.
And when I'm no longer mayor, then my picture will be hung in the courtroom, and the new mayor, whoever takes over after me, will be there. So we did actually start a new tradition.
Oh, so that's great. Okay, so there is the tradition of that then, I guess. All right, that's great. I think that's fantastic. Yeah. I was just always curious as to if they give you any heads up, hey, get ready for this section or this department or blah blah blah, or you're going to get a lot of complaints from this area of the town that wants to get this fixed or blah blah blah. There's something like that. You never know.
No, each person handles it their own way.
Gotcha.
But if you're out there in the community, which is the job job, right?
Yeah,
If you're there, you should be out there on a regular basis talking to people. Then I almost don't really need somebody else to tell you what's on their mind. You should know that.
Yeah, no, you're right. One of my questions, I think, I feel like sometimes I interview you because I don't get a chance to really, I like that we're doing this podcast, but I just have so many questions about being a mayor, living in town. You know what? I see them giving me the signs. So we do have to take a break. When we get back, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. And there's a lot that's going on with the Brunswick Square Mall. And then tomorrow night, you have your town hall. So we have so much still to discuss in today's podcast.
There's
a lot going on in East Brunswick. I love it. All right, guys. You want to know what's going on in and around East Brunswick? This is where you're going to find out. We'll be right back with more. Mayor Cohen, myself, Greg T. This is the Buzz About East Brunswick. Hey, everybody. What are you doing this Saturday at 12 noon?
We interrupt this program to bring you an important message.
Hey, East Brunswick. Unfortunately, the Easter egg hunt that was to take place has been postponed due to weather. Hey, folks, the East Brunswick Egg Hunt is back on Saturday, May 19th. We are in. It's going to be a lot of fun, and the Easter Bunny is still on his way. Sponsored by the East Brunswick PBA Local Number 145 and East Brunswick SOA Local 145A. It's the annual Easter Egg Hunt. Who's going to find that golden egg and then win a grand prize? And kids, I'm also hearing there's going to be a special appearance by the Easter Bunny. You're all going to want to be there. It's happening this Saturday at 12 noon at the East Brunswick Community Arts Center. Happy Easter, everybody! Hey, East Brunswick, did you know that the East Brunswick Public Library is a vibrant community hub offering a wide range of services and programs for residents of all ages? There's a lot going on in the East Brunswick Library. The East Brunswick Public Library is an official passport acceptance facility. It also hosts a diverse array of events, including author talks, craft workshops, and educational sessions. We're in the library. Open 7 days a week. Visit ebpl.org. There's a lot going on at the public library. And unlock your next East Brunswick adventure. All right, guys, so we are back. I'm Greg T. This is Mayor Cohen. Of course, you guys know him. This is the Buzz About East Brunswick. And if you want to reach us, email us at baeb@buzzabouteb.com, Instagram at buzzabouteb. And we do have a website now, buzzabouteb.com. And you can also get us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music.
Yeah, we're growing.
We really are. We started the first time out, we had nothing. Look, we even have like microphone flags now, and we talked about maybe getting some bobbleheads, which would be great. So we can have some merch, maybe a t-shirt or two, Buzz About EB.
I think that's a great idea.
I think people would love that. You know what? We can get these shirts made. I'm not going to rush you, but I wonder if we can get them made and then give them away, let's say, at the county fair.
We could do that. We could do it East Brunswick Day. We have like tons of events in town that we can give them away for. A fishing derby coming up this...
Wait, I don't know anything about a fishing derby. Tell me about fishing derby.
Yeah,
what's fishing derby?
Parks and Rec Department puts on fishing derby. Usually, I think it's in a couple weeks.
Really?
Usually around May. The lake gets stocked, and it's right near where Crystal Springs is in Dallenbach Lake. And we have the little kids come up there with their fishing rods.
Oh, that's cute.
Township provides some for them, and there's all different prizes for the girls, the boys, the age groups they're in, the size fish they get. It's great.
I love that idea. I didn't know.
And a lot of people don't even know that Dallenbach Park is just a massive park that we have in town. It's beautiful.
I don't know.
Walking trails.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that either. I grew up going there. That was my swim club. Dallenbach's Lake was my swim club.
Yeah.
Like, so when my family moved here in the 70s, that's where you went. Like, you were the cool kid if you were going to Dallenbach, swimming in the pond.
Nobody today would know that.
Right. You wouldn't even know. No. But that's what it was. I didn't have like a real, like a very nice swim club. My swim club was the Dallenbach Lake. Yeah. That was the swim club.
As you walk through the park, it's nice and quiet and serene.
Wow.
Every once in a while, depending upon where in the park you are, you hear the boop, 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 which is all the noise from the pickleball courts, which are on the other side of the lake.
Really?
And it is amazing how loud that is.
Huh.
But you don't want to mess with pickleball.
No. That sport, like we talked about last week, it has just absolutely exploded.
Yes.
And the pickleball is amazing. But that's so I didn't even know there was a trail there at Dallenbach's. I guess I just kind of just forgot about it, that it existed, because now I just think about it as going to a different swim club or whatnot, or having your own pool in the back. I didn't even think about it.
Right. Well, I think a lot of people just think about things that are going on in East Brunswick, and they
Yeah.
think about the stuff going on Route 18.
Right.
But there's also, it's a 23, 24 square mile town. There's lots of areas with parks that have been preserved that really are beautiful, and many people don't even know about them.
That's what you just said there. They don't even know about it. I think when I first got a chance to meet you, I think that you and I were talking about the things that are going on in East Brunswick that people just don't know about, and that was one of the things we wanted to cover and shine a spotlight on some of those things. And you had mentioned that there were several parks and trails, places to go and walk around. Yeah, I gotta check that out. I still haven't even. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Listen, I've only been here about a month and a half. I'm still gonna do it. All right, I have a couple of questions to ask you. So this was so funny. So my wife and I were in the car. We had a long drive back and forth to Long Island.
Yes, we just went over that.
Right. And we were talking. And so she says, how does somebody become a mayor of a town? And I'm like, you know what, Trish? I never even asked him. I have no idea. So, Mr. Mayor, how does someone just all of a sudden wake up and go, I want to be the mayor of a town? Like, how does that all happen? How did it happen for you? What do you do?
Well, I think it's different for each person. It evolves. And there's reasons that you may provide service to the public in a lot of different ways besides being mayor.
Right.
I actually started out on the township's Board of Education.
Okay.
And that came at a time when there was massive cuts from the state,
right?
Too dissimilar to what we're seeing now.
I get you.
And I felt that my kids who had already finished the school district, I wanted to make sure that the next group of kids have the same benefit that my kids did.
Sure.
And when people are in a mode where they have to cut, often you end up cutting things that are critical that really have distinguished East Brunswick. I just wanted to make sure that didn't happen.
Got you.
So I ran for the school board. I didn't really even think I'd be elected. But I think having been a physician in the area for a long time and known in different communities, you just don't know how many people know who you are. And I did end up winning.
Okay.
And served on that board for about 6.5 years, and then recognized that the help that was needed most was more on the town side.
Gotcha.
And it revolved mostly around people who at that time were really, really angry at the condition of Route 18 when they saw other commercial corridors growing and ours really dissipating. So it's one thing to say, oh, it was the recession that took place, but the recession didn't happen on just East Brunswick.
No, it happened everywhere. Of course it does.
The Route 1 corridor
grew,
the Route 9 corridor grew, and yet we saw businesses leave. So you can't say that it was just the recession.
Right. No, I understand that.
Not a concerted effort to be on top of what was happening, and so some of our better businesses left.
Listen, you're doing a lot of work around here. I'll be honest with you. You really are. We're all pretty impressed with everything that's going on. Look, you're not going to have, not everybody's going to be thrilled about it. But the thing is that, where do you expect, East Brunswick to go? You can't just sit back and just let the world go around and East Brunswick not do these things. Which, by the way, brings me to this next thing. So now the planning board has gotten together, and now you are going to be doing some, I guess, remodelization or what would you call it at the Brunswick Square Mall?
At the Brunswick Square Mall? Well, that's part of the whole project.
Revitalization.
Redeveloping most of the areas on Route 18 that have fallen into the greatest disrepair. I always say that a lot of folks should really talk to their kids and look at the type of communities that their maybe adult kids have moved to.
Right, exactly.
Right? Where are a lot of the adult kids moving to? New York, Jersey City.
Oh, I lived in Jersey City for a while myself. That's
Westfield, Metuchen.
Oh, yeah, they're all exploding, those towns.
What do all of them have? They have a vibe. They have a combination of living space, workspace, community space, recreational space, all within a walkable distance.
You get those really nice little boutique restaurants and things.
That's what we're trying to create in a town that was never created and built for that. It was originally built as an area where people just had residential homes. They didn't want the businesses. They didn't want the factories. They didn't want any of that.
I understand.
Well, but that means that when expenses go up, it's going to be borne by those people, and you don't have all of those other things to spread those expenses.
You're right.
So
Good
we're
point.
trying to correct some of it in a much needed area of town that we just said fell into disrepair, and try to put a vibe to that.
Sure.
And I think we're going to get there. We've already started on the north end of Route 18. People know and could see now Vermella and the legacy projects, and how as they build, there's going to be a connectivity between all of them that create a little bit of that vibe. That's the north end part of the highway. The south end part of the highway is primarily Brunswick Square Mall.
Right. No, it's humongous.
Right. And if we could bookend nicer retail, nicer living space, the type of area that people are excited to becomes a destination, it puts pressure on all of the businesses that are in between to step it up a little bit.
Absolutely it does.
And I don't think the town will have to offer them any tax incentive to do it because the market takes
You're going to want to you're going to want to be a part of that, right? Of everything.
Or the better businesses are going to move to the places where more people are going. So, either you invest in your own properties or you peril.
I agree.
And I don't think we're going to have to offer them tax incentives to do that, because it's a matter of survival. So but to get this off the ground, you do need to do that.
Okay.
And that's what we're doing at the Brunswick Square Mall. We're going to look at allowing our redevelopment agency to take a look at that property and find some developer, which may be the owners of some of the properties themselves, or we may go out entirely to somebody different. Give us as many ideas as you can how that could be a better, more functioning property.
Right. Listen, I agree, and we've discussed it, you and I. That people aren't shopping in malls like that anymore. They're not. They're everything buying it online. They're going to little boutique places. They're not.
But all of the retail hasn't gone. It just needs to be reworked in a way that makes it more attractive. And it allows people to see most of the stores from the road. Malls today suffer from the fact that you drive by it and you don't know what's in it.
You're right, exactly.
And so now, today, as opposed to 50 years ago when everybody was taking outdoor shopping and moving it all indoors, now there's a move to go back to having it outdoor and walkable. And
right. Like those outdoor malls, people love them. Yeah, they love the outdoor shopping around.
And if you go through the mall part, it's just a vast amount of parking space. It's such wasted area, and it's a stormwater nightmare. And so I think there's a lot of things that could be done that's better. We don't need to have every idea, but we are willing as a town through redevelopment to allow a developer a tax advantage to invest in that property and turn it into something that really is an eye popper.
I love that. I love the idea. I really do. You're right. I haven't even been to a mall. I can't even remember the last time. I do all my shopping online, or I will go to other towns that has like an outdoor market. I even drop my kids off and they do some outdoor shopping. You're right. And that's a very good point. You want to drive by and be able to see it, and it feels inviting. You want to be a part of it. Maybe you sit outside and have a lunch, a brunch outside with some friends.
Right.
I like that
also,
idea. Yes.
The idea that there's a combination of people living in an area that brings it alive. It brings an incentive to the people that are in retail to actually open up there. If there's people that are in walkable distance that they could use to hire to work for them, it all becomes an economic driver. And we need to think about how we're going to survive in the 21st century, and to have people get stuck in, this is not how the town looked 50, 60, 70 years ago.
I can't do it anymore.
There
I agree.
is no town that looks the way it did.
They
50.
don't.
And if you kept it that way, all they would be doing is complaining about how you've done nothing to this town but let it rot.
I agree. I don't know how right. All the naysayers, it just drives me nuts in every single town. Right? You cannot be stuck in just quicksand. You're going to die. You need to refurbish the town and move it into the future.
Exactly. And their children, talk to them. That's right. What they want.
I agree. I'm so excited that we're also going to have that monorail, because we're putting the monorail, right? Isn't that what we're doing? We're putting the monorail in on Route 18, right?
Absolutely.
That's what we thought. Everybody's building the monorail, and it's going to end all the way down by Palmer's over there, right?
I thought it's going to go all the way down to Manalapan and Marlborough and go into New Brunswick.
There is no monorail coming, but it's so funny that still in chat rooms today, people are still thinking that there's a monorail coming to East Brunswick.
Well, that's very funny, because a couple of months ago, we were at the county, and they were talking talking about how they really need to get people in and out of New Brunswick with all of the building that's going on, the Helix and all of this stuff. And they realized that one of the biggest problems in New Brunswick is traffic and no parking. So they were talking to us about maybe borrowing or renting part of our decks and using a shuttle that would take people in and out of New Brunswick with maybe a dedicated lane. I said, well, you know what? If you're going to do that already, I think we could extend that along Route 18 because there's a lot of people that will be living in some of these complexes. And I'm sure many of them would prefer not to use the car. We would prefer for them not to use the car.
Of course.
And I have the perfect name for whatever that shuttle's called.
And it's called?
The Monorail.
And then people just ran with it.
There
and
it
that
is.
was
and
it.
I said, I thought this guy was joking, but actually they're going to wake up one day and see something named the Monorail.
Could you imagine, here we are today, we're just joking about it, but like, let's say 30, 40 years from now, there's a new mayor in town and he's like, we're going to put the monorail in. Look at these two jokesters thinking it was funny back then. And now we're actually doing it. I thought I'd bring that little funny up because I happen to see it in a couple of different Facebook posts that people think that there's a monorail coming. And I did my due diligence, and I'm like, there's no monorail. There's no monorail coming. Anyway, all right, listen, so I love that we're talking about all of these things. We do have to take another break. I'm getting a high sign from some of the camera guys here. We'll take another break, and when we get back, we're going to dive into it. So tonight, you are doing your second town hall at the Community Arts Center. So we're going to jump into that and find out exactly what you want to talk about, what people are going to talk about, and we're going to dive into that. Call coming up next. Plus, we still have your email to get to. We have an email. You want to email us? You can email the mayor or myself at baeb@buzzabouteb.com. We've got some funny questions in this one email, so I think you're going to have a lot of fun with it as well. All right, guys, this is what's going on in and around East Brunswick.
All right, hit the music.
Oh, sorry. As we play it out, we're playing it out. He loves the theme song. Yo, what are you guys doing? Get up here. This place is awesome. Are you looking for something fun to do with the kids? This is entertainment. Come on.
Do you want to make a difference in your community?
Are you curious what's inside Palmera's entertainment?
Now's your chance to do all three.
Join us April 27th from 4 to 8 p.m. This is going to be a great night for your family, for your friends, and for your colleagues.
Your ticket includes food, beverages, arcade, bowling, DJ, karaoke, and this 7D theater.
Plus, every dollar raised goes directly to helping those in need in our community.
So come out, give back, and enjoy an unforgettable evening.
Click the link below to get your tickets now. Woo-hoo! Yeah, baby.
We'll see you April 27th at Palmera's.
This place is awesome. I'm coming back. Guys, ready for the summer? Crystal Springs Family Water Park has been named one of the best pools in the state of New Jersey, offering day passes and seasonal memberships. It's a summer water attraction you're not going to want to miss. The recreation pool, the lap pool, relax by the lazy river even, and your children are always safe in the shallow kiddie pool. But for the really little ones, Crystal Springs even has its own splash patio. You want to talk about summer fun? Well, how about those 3 awesome water slides that only Crystal Springs has? And don't worry about lunch. The concession stand is fully stocked with snacks and grilled meals. So let's all beat the heat this summer, East Brunswick, at the Crystal Springs Family Water Park. All right, so that is in and around East Brunswick. As you can tell, there's a lot going on in East Brunswick. I'm Greg T. This is Mayor Cohen. We are the Buzz About East Brunswick, and you can always reach out to us and email us, which we're going to get to an email today. It's BAEB@buzzabouteb.com. Instagram is buzzabouteb, and of course, we now have a website, buzzabouteb.com. And if you're watching us on YouTube, hello everybody on YouTube. It's at EBTV26, and search for us at Buzz About East Brunswick. All right, so tomorrow night, night is the big night. Tomorrow night is your town hall over at the Community Arts Center.
Yeah.
Gorgeous place, by the way. I was just there, matter of fact, with Cheryl Brass. We did a little symphony video, so that really worked out well because they're doing May the 4th Be With Us.
Right.
Yeah, and so I dressed up like a stormtrooper. You'll see the video. It's kind of funny. Your assistant Tracy thought it was very funny.
Is that your favorite character from Star Wars?
I just thought it stood out. I'm like, if I come in as like a stormtrooper, I guess, that's a good question. Who is your favorite character in Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
So who's yours?
Well, I like Yoda. I think he's just wise.
Yoda is wise, right?
And then there's the other side of me, the evil emperor. That thing he does with the hand.
Yes.
It's so cool.
Yes. I don't want to make Darth Vader the guy that I love the most, even though he's so iconic and the whole thing's about him and Luke. But I guess I don't know. Maybe the stormtroopers are so cool. Maybe the stormtroopers are my favorite part of Star Wars. Maybe they really are. You made me really think about it.
The library has a program. I don't know if they did it last night or they're doing it.
Trivia night
for Star Wars.
Yep.
And there's a ton of people in this community that know the most interesting little tidbits about each one of the 9 episodes of it. But I do remember taking my kids out of school when the second set of 3 episodes came out because they were little in elementary age at the time.
It was a big deal.
And we were all into Star Wars, and I took them out for the midnight showing, and it was really great. They still remember me taking them out of school.
Wow, great memories.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I agree. I think that back then, you didn't have these movie theaters that have, a tremendous amount of theater space, so you really had to go early or, get to see it even late at night. Sometimes the movies ran midnight. There was a midnight showing.
The opening was at midnight, and people came dressed up in different Star Wars.
They came dressed up. That's right. I remember all of this. I guess we are similar in age, similar in height. There's a lot going on here. All right, so Mr. Mayor, so tomorrow night is the big town hall. So you're gonna have people are gonna be asking you questions because you're open to a question and answer.
Yes.
But you're also going to be able to address a lot of the residents that are going to come out. So what are some of those points that you're going to be talking to and you're going to be addressing at tomorrow night's town hall?
So the big ones that I want to make sure we get to are the things that people talk about, the buzz, right?
The buzz about EB?
There's always a buzz about something.
That's right.
So issues about what we're doing with redevelopment and, squashing some rumors that just are not true.
No monorail.
No monorail.
right.
Monorail. People ask about what's going on with Route 18 and the work that's being done there and that schedule, so we'll touch on that. A little bit about the revaluation that needs to be done over the next couple of years. So there's a lot of topics that I know people generally ask about. Those are the ones that I want to make sure that I hit. After those are done, I'd rather spend the rest of the time having people ask me questions about things that are important to them, and they can come from everywhere. People often ask about a perennial favorite is cable. Why is it that we can only get Comcast? And
interesting.
There's a simple answer to that, which most people don't like, but there is a simple answer to that. And so those are questions that I think if anybody and sometimes that's one out of left field that nobody really cares about other than a handful of people, but they deserve the answer to.
No, I got it. Yep. Last week I think we just kind of teased it that maybe you guys were thinking about opening up a pickleball, I guess an indoor place. Is that still on the table? Are you guys considering a pickleball, sort of like a gymnasium or arena kind of thing?
I think that the township shouldn't always feel obligated to do things that the market may be able to bring to you.
Gotcha.
So there's spots on Route 18 in some of the bigger places we've been talking about where we might be able to encourage and attract companies to come in.
And build one of those. Right. Yeah, that would be really, really great. Yeah. And I think, what, also, it's a perfect opportunity for you to plug our podcast and say, hey, listen, guys,
Absolutely.
You know what? All of this.
That's one of my topics, marketing.
That's right. It is. It's all about marketing. You're right. And I think that you should actually turn one of the questions on to some of the people that may be disappointed that East Brunswick is, trying to go forward by saying, what would you have wanted us to do with East Brunswick? Brunswick, when you see some of the other towns around us growing, what would you have us do? Almost put it back out there to them.
Well, that's true with almost anything, right? A lot of times people have criticisms, but they don't really have answers.
Right.
We've had people that criticized work that's being done in the town, and then I said, well, you know what? You had a lot of good ideas. Would you like to be on one of our committees that actually does this type of work every day? Every once in a while, most of the time, you'll find people that take you up on that.
Yeah.
And they're immense value to the township because they really do care.
Right.
And then there's the others that fortunately are not as many, but you offer them the opportunity to come back and make a difference. And no, I'd rather just be a critic.
Correct. And yeah, I understand that. So far, so you've been here, the mayor, has it been 10 years now or
No.
8 years?
So this is the beginning of my third term. So I'm in the ninth year.
Ninth year. Okay, I'm sorry. So 9 years. So in the 9 years that you've been the mayor, what has been like your biggest accomplishment? So right now, what is the one thing that you could say, man, I'm so proud that I made that happen? What is it?
I think that there's a couple. Clearly, there's a generational change in Route 18.
Right.
It had to happen.
That's correct.
So, and that's a really, really difficult thing to do because you're dealing with land use and you're starting with someone who had zero experience in development, land use law. I don't know none of that.
Sure.
So you have to learn that first.
Okay.
You have to find the people who are going to give you the best advice.
You've surrounded yourself with a very great group.
And then do it.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people talk about it, but actually do it.
Okay.
So that's one that I'm really proud of. And I think that even for those that are critics, when it's finally done, I think they'll look back and they'll say, wow, this really is really nice.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think is important is that we've always relished the fact that we're a diverse township.
Okay.
And
agreed.
I've always said this to people, that diversity should not be an adjective, it should be a verb. And so it's one thing to look at a piece of paper and see, oh, there's X percentage of white people, and X percentage of Asian, and X percentage in your town, and oh, you must be diverse.
Right.
That is just a piece of paper with numbers.
Right.
Unless you engage with groups and invite them to be participating with boards, commissions, leadership. That's what brings
diversity
people together.
Yeah,
so
I get you.
I really care more about the groups interacting and learning from one another, which is an amazing lesson for our children because the world that they're going to inherit is a global economy. It's a global world that you're working in. So to have that experience at home means that you're not learning it at a point in time when you really need to have those skills. It just needs to be part of your DNA.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you're right. It's a good point, right? It's only numbers, but when you have so many different diverse people getting involved in so many different groups and departments, then you really are establishing, that multicultural feeling of a town, and it's just great. It's what brings it. It's what makes a town, of having everybody from different areas all be a part of one. I love that. Yeah. I love the mission that you're on. I like that.
So those are the two things that I could give you lots of littler things that I think are important, but those are those are ones that are going to last forever.
Gotcha. I like it, Mr. Mayor. I like it a lot. I do. You know what? I'm telling you, man. I'm really. This is pretty great. It's pretty great what you're doing here. I see your vision. I'm feeling it now, and I
also think that the biggest thing that people are upset about right now, if you talk to almost anybody, they're stressed. Their economy, personal economy, whether it's what they could afford, the energy bill just went up. The insurance bill just went up. The healthcare costs are skyrocketing.
Sure.
This isn't covered any longer, and I thought that it was. They're all feeling incredibly stressed.
Yep, I get that.
I think that what we're trying to create here are opportunities for the economy to grow.
Yeah.
So take a little thing like the ice rink.
Yeah, right.
Which isn't really a little
No,
thing.
that's huge. It's been great. 2 NHL-sized rinks are,
It's a massive improvement for things that kids could do in town.
Sure.
So your kids aren't interested. I can assure you there's going to be others that will.
Yeah, I get you.
So it brings in activities. It brings in jobs for people that'll work there. It brings jobs for people who are going to have to build it. It brings tournaments and people coming out for weekend type of events that are here around that, which means your hotels and your restaurants.
Right, they're all going to flourish. Absolutely.
So it becomes an economic driver.
Yeah.
This one thing. And now you start multiplying that times several others you really now become a destination on the map. And that's
I like
what
it.
we want.
Yeah, Mayor. I like
That's
it.
right.
Yes, we like it. I love it. All right. So listen, let's take a break on that note. All right. When we get back, we got some really funny questions and their email to get to. But I love what you're talking about. I'm feeling it. I love, as they say, I love what you're throwing down. I'm picking it up. It's a buzz. You are creating a massive buzz about East Brunswick. You really are, no doubt. All right, guys, we're taking our last and final break. And then when we get back, some really funny questions, all coming from one of the emails from one of you guys out there. So thank you so much. And this is what's going on in and around East Brunswick.
The East Brunswick Police Department is currently accepting applications for the annual Junior Police Academy. The Junior Police Academy is being held this year at the East Brunswick High School between July 7th and July 11th. To be eligible to attend, individuals must be between the ages of 13 and 17 and reside in East Brunswick or attend a school within the township of East Brunswick. This one-week program provides an excellent opportunity for young members of the community to get a better understanding of how the East Brunswick Police Department operates and how police officers serve and protect our community. Registration is now open on the East Brunswick Parks and Recreation website. The deadline for registrations this year will be Sunday, May 11th. Due to the high number of anticipated applicants, we recommend you submit your applications as soon as possible, as the class size is limited to 30 spots. If you have any questions, you can contact the East Brunswick Police Department's Community Policing Unit at 732-390-6938 or via email at communitypolicing@ebpd.net. Thank you, and we hope to see you there.
I'm with the Director of Planning and Engineering here in East Brunswick, Keith Kipp.
90,000 square foot ice arena. It's got 2 NHL-sized rinks inside. We designed in the load for solar panels on the roof. Team lockers and guest lockers. TV screen to announce who's playing on what ice. 10-foot viewing area where you can view the play on the ice. I'm very proud of this project. It's been a great conglomeration between the township, the council, and the contracting and design team have been excellent.
And the music.
You love it. I love it. I love that you love it. All right, guys, I'm Greg T. This is Mayor Cohen. Welcome back again to Buzz About East Brunswick, our podcast. This is only episode number 3, and this is a time where now we're going to stop down and read a little bit of email. If you'd like to email us next week, it's BAEB@BuzzAboutEB. You can always follow us on Instagram. Message us there on Instagram as well at BuzzAboutEB, and on our website now at BuzzAboutEB.com. And again, if you're at YouTube, hello everybody on YouTube. All right, you ready, Mr. Mayor? I got some email to get to.
Okay.
We do have an email here.
It's mail time.
Mail time. We got mail.
It's not the slow Pony Express.
No. We got real email.
You get
real
the reference?
Email. I do. Slow. No, this is definitely this is rapid. This is rapid. All right. So, Mr. Mayor, here is our email today.
Okay.
It says, "Hi everyone. My name is Amy. I've been a resident of East Brunswick for 14 years. I live up a Cranberry Road near Warnsdorfer School. You've said residents can email, so I'm taking a chance. I enjoy the banter between the two of you, and since I'm a bit nutty myself, I'm throwing these fun questions out to you two to have fun with. I've been listening. I'll be listening next week to see if you read my email. Thanks so much. And I just wanted to say I love this town. Your resident, Amy. No last name, no address."
Thank you, Amy.
There you go. So, Amy's very first question is this. You only get one song to listen to for the rest of your life, Mr. Mayor. What song is that?
I picked, and my wife agreed to our wedding song, which was "We've Only Just Begun" from the Carpenters. And I think you always are beginning something new. Don't be afraid to start something new.
I'm smitten.
Doesn't that sound...
That is really, really nice. Right. That is really, really nice. That is. What a sweetheart you are. All right, for me, I wasn't thinking about my wife, or maybe I was. She's a big Bon Jovi fan. I chose "Wanted Dead or Alive." I thought that would be a great. That's a great song.
Well, he grew up in
Sayreville, right down the street.
Exactly.
So so I guess I kind of brought my wife into it, but without even thinking about it. But I saw Bon Jovi, "Wanted Dead or Alive." All right, second question Amy has. This is a really funny one.
Okay.
All right, you ready for this one?
Yep.
If aliens landed in East Brunswick, honestly, Amy, if aliens landed in East Brunswick, what local spot would you, Mr. Mayor, take them to first to impress the aliens? Amy, I can't believe I'm reading this email. Go ahead.
Well, we were talking earlier about some of our parkland that nobody really even knows about.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
So there's a spot right off of Riva Avenue, not far from where I live.
Right.
There's a that the town owns about 26 acres of land that most people don't know. It's Old Fodor
Yeah, I'm
Farm.
trying to think about that area. Okay.
Old Fodor Farm, right before you get to Milltown.
Right.
There's a small little convenience store.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right.
I know the area. Yes, I know the area.
Well, once you get past the tree line, again, this is all township property, which
Right.
we will eventually turn into something that's more of like walk trails.
Right.
But if you get past the tree line, you're basically right on top of Lake Farrington.
That's exactly. I was just trying to think. That's exactly where that is over there.
Back there is a beautiful waterfall that nobody knows is even here in town.
I don't think I even knew about this. And I know Farrington Lake. I know Farrington Manor. All that. I didn't even think about where is the waterfall. I'm trying to think for real.
It's behind, literally very close to the Milltown border, but it's right past the tree line. You have to get past the property. You have to go down that little street by Venn Manor.
Yeah.
And then you walk all the way into the woods past the tree line, which takes you out to basically the lake, and then you'll see it's beautiful parkland, hilly, which I love. And then I first time I was there, I just hear all this water running. I said, "Where the heck is that coming from?"
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, there's this massive dam.
Awesome.
And the waterfall coming off of it. It's beautiful.
You know what? I'm going to check that out. I don't know much. I don't know about the dam. I didn't know about it. Well, I'm going to check it out. All right. Now, last question from Amy.
Okay.
Somebody told us that you enjoy your Chinese food. So she wants to know, what is your go-to order at EB Chinese?
Oh, she knows I go to EB
There you
Chinese.
go. There you go.
Suette, she's the best.
Suette. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I have a couple of the go-to ones, but we actually like the either General Tso's or the sesame chicken.
I love it.
That they make with real white meat chicken, which is really good.
God, okay.
So it's not tasting like a whole bunch of breaded, breading.
Yeah.
So that's our go-to dish.
Gotcha.
But there's a bunch of others.
All right.
I mean, to me, Chinese food is like a fourth food group.
No, listen, I enjoy my Chinese. We had it this past Friday. We knew we were going to be eating Passover food for on Saturday, and then we knew we were going to have Palm Sunday dinner. So on Friday, we ordered Chinese.
Well, actually, almost every Friday night, that's our go-to.
Oh, yeah? You're a
Yes.
Friday night guy. See, for us, Friday night has always been pizza, but I could see how you could do that. Friday night could be Chinese food. We do a Chinese, I guess, maybe like on a Tuesday, when it's early on in the week still. We don't really know how the rest of the week is shaping up, so we do that. But you guys are a Friday night Chinese guys.
Yes.
All right, I got
That's
you.
our thing.
Now, listen, I've got some funny questions to ask. So thank you, Amy. And again,
thanks, Amy.
you guys can always email us at BAEB@BuzzAboutEB. And BuzzAboutEB. Just drop us an email. So now I've got a couple of questions here that I want to get to. I want to know, what is your favorite sport? And I think I know what your favorite sport is.
Come on.
Is it hockey?
Ice hockey. of
I
course.
knew it. So you are a big are you a big Devils fan?
Yes.
I knew it. So are you excited that they're finally going back to the playoffs?
Finally.
So what do you
know
think?
what? But I'm a little disappointed. I'm really upset that Jack Hughes got hurt, because I think our chances in the playoffs would have
Stronger.
been far better if he was playing.
And they're going up against Carolina, who booted them back in 2023.
Oh, I remember
Right?
before that. I remember when we got shut out of the playoffs. They got 2 goals literally within the last minute.
Yeah.
So that was
Heartbreaker,
really heartbreaking.
heartbreaker.
So yeah, no love lost there.
How much did you love the 90s when the Devils were just like such a force to be reckoned with? They were like that they were so strong. They were winning it all the time. Brodeur was
Brodeur,
oh my
absolutely.
God, Brodeur.
So we have season tickets, and when he broke the record, they
Yeah.
actually took the netting, and they broke it up into the number of pieces and gave each season ticket holder a little piece of,
Really?
of that netting from when he broke the record for the most number.
Tell me you got a piece of that.
Of course. And it's framed and everything.
That's awesome. That's great. I like the Devils as well. It's been tough the past couple of years,
Right.
but they have such a young staff now, and they really are pushing it. I think that, look, I don't know, is this the year they're coming in at like their third? I think they're the third seed.
Third seed in their division. So, but look, they got a lot of young players that
They
are
do.
great.
They do. But yeah, Jack
so
Hughes would have been much. Yeah.
It'd be great if they go far.
Yeah.
I would love to see them get past Carolina. That would be
Right.
great. But there's a lot of really good teams this year.
Yeah.
Winnipeg out of nowhere.
Oh
a
my
really
God!
great team.
What a great year Winnipeg has had, right? What an amazing year they've had.
Washington with
Yep.
Ovechkin had a phenomenal season. Just broke the record.
He's the man.
So look, there's some really stiff competition
Yeah.
out there. But you know what? it's any game.
Yeah, I got you. You never know. Especially when they're all going to play like, 5, best out of 5, best out of 7, anything could possibly happen, which is great. All right, now, yesterday, a lot of ladies, they went up in the Jeff Bezos rocket ship. It was, Katy Perry was there.
Right.
Was it... Gail King was one of them. Anyway, they all went up into space, or I guess on the cusp of like where the outer space is. Mr. Mayor, would you ever want to be in a Jeff Bezos rocket ship going up to outer space?
Yeah, I think that'd be so cool. Well, I told you I did the skydiving.
You did your skydiving. That's my limit. I
told you today that I went into the single engine plane.
That's true.
So, absolutely.
You're a lot more daring than I. I swear I'm chicken. I would not. No way, no way.
I'd love to have that feeling for a couple of seconds of total weight loss. Which I know a lot of people in this country that love to feel weightless.
Yeah.
But I think that'd be cool.
Oh, my God.
And the view has to be just astounding.
Well, you're never going to get that view again. I mean, how many times are you going to go up in a Jeff Bezos rocket? That's for sure.
Right. Just can't afford that.
All right, here we go. Ever received a speeding ticket here in East Brunswick?
Yes.
You did? In East Brunswick?
Yes.
Before you were mayor, you had to be.
Yes.
Right, you can't do it. I mean, could you imagine getting pulled over and they're like, oh boy, it's the mayor?
No, actually I got pulled over and it was because if you know where Fern Road intersects by Warnsdorfer with Dunham's Corner Road.
Yeah.
So it was night. I was coming home from my medical office.
Yes.
And I'm making a right onto Dunham's Corner Road. And I had not been living here that long, so I didn't realize that there was a stop sign there.
Yeah.
And the trees actually kind of covered up some of the sign, to be perfectly honest with you. So, and it's at night, there wasn't a soul on the road.
Yeah.
And I just sort of came to what they call a gliding stop or not a complete stop.
Yeah.
But there was nobody at all around. And the police pulled me over and they say, do you know what you were doing? I said, well, I really didn't think I was speeding. And then he said, well, aren't those numbers English? I said, well, if you really want to be technical about it, the numbers are Arabic, but which I don't think was really the smart answer to that. And he said, well, you weren't speeding. You didn't come to a complete stop. I'm like, you really have to be kidding me.
Well, listen, I guess that it happens to the best of us, doesn't it?
It did, and I fought it. I went to court.
You did?
I did.
Did you win?
No. I actually was sat in front of the judge, tried to explain to him what I was doing, made myself my own attorney because I wasn't going to waste money on an attorney. I knew that I probably had no chance of winning, but I tried. And the judge at the end said, that was really pretty good for someone who's not an attorney. He goes, but when steals, it steals. I tried to use the doctor excuse.
Yeah.
He goes, we really don't care who you are.
And now here you are as the mayor.
There you go.
All right, guys. So listen, that is episode 3 of the Buzz About EB, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I know I got every single episode. I get more and more out of learning much more about you, learning about the town, meetings. So we're getting emails in there. And again, head over to our website. Make it easy for yourself. Go to buzzabouteb.com and drop us an email right from there. And if you are listening to us or you want to take us on the road, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. You can listen to the Buzz About East Brunswick. Mr. Mayor, I guess I will see you tomorrow night, or if you're watching it now, I'll be seeing you tonight.
Absolutely.
At your town hall.
All right, T-Meister, we ready?
T-Meister.
T-Meister.
After you did that, so many other people heard about it. They started calling me T-Meister in the building now.
Well, I told you I had a nephew, Zachary, and I used to call him Z-Meister, so it's just like the thing.
T-Meister. All right, guys, we are out. We'll see you guys here next week.
All right.